It is Thursday, December 12th, and secretly throughout my pregnancy, knowing that I was due on the 19th, I knew my 39-week would fall on 12/12/24, and I thought, how cool of a birthday would that be? But I had no more contractions after the literal one I had last night, so I don't know, maybe that was just me getting my hopes up, but we're gonna go today. Hopefully things are progressing, and if not, I have an induction scheduled on Monday because I had a big old baby last time. So fingers crossed. There have been some updates today because I'm exhausted. I love the newborn time much more than I love the pregnant time because you get to reap the rewards of being pregnant even though you're tired, and the sleep you do gets a lot better than when you're pregnant. So we're almost there. I've been sick all weekend. I woke up this morning with just a terrible chest cough. And so Alex suggested that I take a flu and COVID test just to make sure that, I could let them know when I called, like, I took these tests, I'm negative. Well, joke's on me because I tested positive twice for COVID this morning. Sometimes you can do everything and still get sick. You can probably tell I've been crying a lot, a little scared, a little overwhelmed. They are gonna postpone my induction until Thursday the 19th, which is my actual due date, so that'll be exactly what we did with Finn. Hoping I'll have less symptoms then, and it'll just be overall better for everybody, because right now I'm so cashed. Like, I don't know how I can, like, unless my body goes into natural labor, I don't think I can do it. I've gotta wait a few more days to be a little bit. I am up sitting in a chair today. I am feeling a lot better, so I'm hoping that it was a great idea to push the induction, so then that way I feel much better when we go in tomorrow. It'll be the same pretty much thing that I did with Finn. I went into my 40-week appointment. They said, let's induce you tonight with Finn. And so I don't have a 40-week appointment because I wasn't supposed to be pregnant still, but it's okay. I'm hoping I feel better. I have more energy, and baby boy will be here on his own time. So today is Thursday, December 19th. I still have a raspy voice, but I'm feeling much better. Just waiting the few days is going to make everything a lot better than it would have been on Monday. So I'm just laying in bed right now. I'm watching Christmas Vacation, trying to take my mind off the fact that we leave in less than 4 hours to go to the hospital, and just trying to get some last minute rest in. Today's the day. At this point, I'm just trying to go in with an open mind and just what will be, and all the people there that are going to help me get little man out safely.
Misty mountains, dusty roads ahead, crossing rivers, dreaming of a bed, from a window in the mighty clouds up high. I can touch a stream of gold above, breaking through with hope of light enough, giving peace of mind.
I did not sleep at all, but I'm feeling a lot better. These fluids are helping me kick the last little bit of my cold, which is great. Now I'm just sitting on the ball. Also, I bought my own gown to bring, and this has been a game changer. It's so much softer, so much more comfy. The back has snaps. With how uncomfortable you get in labor, it's nice to have something that's a little more comfy. Get another dose of medicine in 30 minutes, and we'll go from there. Sounds like it's gonna be a little bit because he was -4 station, which I think Finn was -3, and they were like, Finn's really high. So, winning. It's 11 o'clock and we're starting the Pitocin. So, here we go.
Above, I feel above. Oh, you have seen 1,000 lovers meet. You have seen 1,000 tired feet. Seen them rest upon a hill beneath a crown.
What color are they?
So do you know what that means? You're getting a little brother!
I lose my breath whenever I see you. You stole my heart, what is it that you do? My life was great till you added colors. Like the moon needs the sun, we don't care about the others. You set my world on fire. You're my heart's desire.
And we are ready to go home. We stayed another night at the hospital just because we wanted to make sure that my blood pressure readings were good. I had a couple higher ones after delivery, but everything looks good since. So I'll be monitoring that at home, but we cannot wait to go home so Henry can meet Finn and he can also meet Sebastian. So let's pack up and get out of here.
Standing underneath the lights, looking into each other's eyes.
Sit down, baby. Good boy. I know you're just so
Tired
excited.
snowflakes are coming down, collapse into water when they hit the ground.
You guys are gonna be such good friends.
I hear the sound of empty streets. Yesterday has gone to sleep.
I feel a little rusty. It's been a while since I've sat down and filmed an intro. I'm back home now, but I had a really scary encounter after my pregnancy that I honestly had heard of in passing, but I didn't realize how common it was. And I felt I would be so remiss if I posted this video and didn't share that part of my labor story, because I really think by getting this information out there, because so many of you guys have told me that either you have kids that are pregnant, daughters-in-law that are pregnant, you yourself, I wanted to share this because this is something that, like I said, I don't think a ton of people talk about. In the hospital, I had had some high blood pressure readings right after I had Henry. And honestly, I chalked that up as being because the birth was a little traumatic. I just thought it was something that was happening because I was under a lot of stress, because they took my readings like right after. Well, this seemed to be the theme of the entire thing, because pretty much all of my symptoms you could easily write off as being freshly postpartum, being exhausted, your body having just went through labor. And so that's why I think this is extra important. So that Monday and Tuesday were the 23rd and then Christmas Eve. And I felt okay. I was exhausted, like normal aches and pains, but it's what I remembered having after I had Finn. Then the night of Christmas Eve, we were up late working on a ton of stuff for Christmas. I got in the shower and I looked down and my feet were so swollen. Now this should have been a red flag to me, but this was another thing where I was like, okay, I got a ton of fluids for my induction. I have been on my feet way more than I have since having Henry. So I'm just, gonna sleep it off. I was taking my blood pressure every day, but my readings hadn't went up crazy high yet. They told me to let them know if I was over 140, over 90, but it was kind of up and down. My blood pressure hadn't spiked yet. So I went to bed Christmas Eve. We did Christmas Day here. Alex's family came in the morning. My family came in the afternoon. We had a great time and I was so out of it. Looking back, I was not myself. I kept zoning out, and actually I think it was my vision going blurry, but I thought it was because I was so tired. I hardly slept when I had COVID. I didn't sleep the night of the induction, and you have a newborn, you're exhausted. So again, all these things that could easily have been written off. It was the day after Christmas that things had gotten to the point where it was so nagging that I could not ignore it anymore. So I had the swelling, and then I woke up with a headache that was my whole top head, my forehead, and then it was kind of going between each of my eyes. It was very painful. I'd been taking Tylenol for my overall labor pains. I wasn't on anything too high, just regular extra strength Tylenol. And it wasn't touching the headache. And that is something when I was discharged that my doctor said, if you have a headache that is pretty bad and it's not going away with pain meds, let us know.
the nurse answered and she said, you know, what are your blood pressure readings? What are your symptoms? And she said, okay, I want you to take a Motrin. So Alex ran out and got ibuprofen because I didn't have any here because I couldn't take it when I was pregnant. And then also to just put your feet up and rest. Give it 2 hours, call me back and let me know how you're feeling. I literally fell asleep for 2 hours and I woke up with a worse headache. So that's when I was like, I don't think this is an exhaustion headache. And things started clicking. They told me, okay, you're going to want to go to the hospital and get checked out just because it was later in the day. They didn't have any openings at the OB office. Loaded up the car with my mom, headed to the hospital. I remember sitting down, they put the cuff on my arm, and I will never forget the look on the nurse's face when they took my blood pressure because it was 166/102. I could also see in my mom's eyes how that set off alarm bells in her head. And she was like, I don't like that. We're going to get you back into a room right away. I don't know what I thought was going to happen, but I did not think I was going to the hospital to get admitted. Like I literally said to Finn, I'll be back. Like we're going to go, we'll be back tonight, you know, we'll have dinner or whatever. In hindsight, I shouldn't have said that, but I didn't know at the time. So we get back into my room and because my reading was over 160 for the top number of the blood pressure, they were prepared to give me a quick IV hit of blood pressure lowering medicine because with postpartum preeclampsia, it can cause a ton of terrible things to happen to your body, especially if you don't catch it in time. Things like seizures, strokes, organ failure, and it can also be fatal if it's not caught in time. So when you hear that that's what you have, you didn't even know that it was something that could really happen a ton postpartum, which I don't know if that's on me. I didn't do enough research. My providers didn't tell me. I don't know. I did know about preeclampsia during pregnancy and I was so afraid of that. So I was taking a baby aspirin through the whole thing since like 12 weeks. And I stopped taking that when I left the hospital per my doctor's instructions because that's usually what they recommend. You stop when you've had the baby. So I honestly thought that I was in the clear and obviously I was not. Just sitting in this room, waiting to see a doctor, waiting to get admitted, and then in walks my OB. She's like, yeah, you have postpartum preeclampsia. We're going to have to keep you for at least 2 nights. We're going to have to put you on magnesium, which I didn't even realize what I was in for, but that was rough, but it had to happen because it had to relax my body so that I wouldn't seize or have a stroke. So like, obviously, like even as wicked as it was, that was much better than the alternative. But I was so just scared out of my mind. Just because I was like, I have a new baby at home. I have another son at home. Alex is at home with a newborn. Like my husband's amazing. I wasn't worried that he couldn't do it, but it was just like all the things in my head. I thought I was going to be home tonight. I didn't pack a bag. I didn't have a phone charge. I didn't have my pump. I didn't have literally anything. So that was just a lot. And I keep thinking back to this time because it was like if I didn't go when I did and my mom didn't drive me to the hospital when I did, it could have been worse. I could have spiked at home. I could have had one of those other 2 things happen to me at home if it got too high. It could have been a call to an ambulance, and I'm just so thankful that that didn't happen so Finn didn't have to see that. And the whole time in this pregnancy, I feel like I have gotten some divine intervention, if you will. I'm a big believer in signs. I'm a big believer in, you know, the people in your life that pass on. They give you signs and, you know, they can, and not interfere, but interact with you in your life. And throughout this pregnancy, especially right at the beginning when we thought we might lose the pregnancy, it turned out to be a subchorionic hematoma. And it was fine, obviously. Henry's here. I felt like I was getting a lot of like reassurance that everything would be okay. And I chalk that up to being my grandpa, so my mom's dad. Henry's middle name in honor of him, and I really do feel like he was the one that tapped me on my shoulder and said, get to the hospital. Like, the worst they can do is send you home, and you wasted a couple hours, but you know you're fine. And like, thank God I did. So I feel like that was a divine intervention that I'm very, very thankful for. You know, it was just kind of another God wink, if you will, of like, you know, I've got you, I'm behind you, you've got guardian angels with you. So I'm super thankful for that because the magnesium was wicked. They put you on a drip of that. I had to be on it for 24 hours. And when I tell you the instant they turned that thing on, my whole body was on fire. My mom was putting towels, like hand towels that were in ice water on my forehead. And I didn't even flinch. It just felt like lukewarm. They turned the air all the way down. My poor mom was like frozen out of the room, but she didn't leave me. She was there. She was literally an angel throughout this whole thing, and I could not have done it without her. So I'm thankful she was there with me so Alex could stay home, because nobody knew Henry's routine. Heck, we didn't even know Henry's routine. We were working through it. And so it was just crazy. Anybody that went through magnesium when you were pregnant, that has got to be 10 times worse, because I know how freaked out I was when I was COVID positive and pregnant. So I just wish no one had to go through this. Did the magnesium drip, and here is a clip of me eating a Portillo salad a couple hours before they took me off. You can just see in my face, like, this is not the most flattering at all, but I share it to show you the, you know, what happened. I did not get any shots of how swollen I was or anything, but my mom was saying that my hands and my face started swelling when we got to the hospital. Good news is, once they got me off that drip, I started feeling a lot more normal. I still had headaches, but I was on blood pressure medicine, and things started to de-swell, and I finally felt like I could just like take a breather. I don't know. It's hard to explain what it's like to be on magnesium unless you're on it, but I don't wish that on anyone. They kept me overnight for another 12 hours. Some more swelling went down. And then on Saturday morning, I was just waiting for the doctor to kind of see what the deal was going to be. Doctor just said I get to go home. They're going to send me home with blood pressure and then medicine. And then I have a follow-up in like a couple days. I feel like my face is a little less swollen, especially with all the fluids they pump me with. My hands are way less swollen. My fingers are back to normal. Saturday, 12:15, finally got discharged. And I get to go home and see the boys, thank goodness. The day I walked in the door coming home from the hospital, I saw Finn first. We both started crying, and I will never forget that moment, because I felt so guilty as a mom that I said, I'll be right back. And I was gone for a few nights. Obviously, I didn't do it on purpose, but, you know, especially the mom guilt is high when you bring home a second child when you've had an only child for almost 5 years. So that was a lot, but we're adjusting. We're all getting into the swing of it. It's going to take some time, but I am just so thankful to be home, to be on blood pressure medication, to be taking blood pressure readings and having them be lower and more normal than what I was seeing before I went to the hospital and after. The goal is to get me off the blood pressure medication when they can, when it's safe. I cannot thank you guys enough who commented on my updates. I know that wasn't the ideal way to share, but I also wasn't in the hospital editing a video, obviously. So I just wanted to say thank you to anybody that left a comment, sent me a message, a DM, anything. I sat in the hospital and read those when I was really in my head and really scared, and it was nice to know that there was a big community behind me and all the craft buddies were just praying for me and rooting for me. That was just so awesome, and I am so thankful to have you guys as part of the Whiskey Craft Buddy group. I cannot tell you how amazing that was to feel like I wasn't alone. I had people pulling for me. I had people praying for our family, and between that and the delivery, just thank you so incredibly much. So if you've got anybody in your life that is pregnant or newly postpartum, please keep an eye on them. Definitely like look out for them, especially because the fog that is the newborn life is real, and moms sometimes neglect themselves. We're the last ones to get the attention or things that we need. I hope that by sharing this part of my birth story with you guys that I can help at least one person know the signs, get in there quicker, and not have to be so close to, you know, having to get all that stuff done and having to be quite as scary. Hopefully this helps just one person in their pregnancy or postpartum journey. Look out for preeclampsia, the signs, symptoms, just more information on what to look out for and how to advocate for yourself. Not 100% out of the woods yet, but I definitely feel a lot more settled and calm and, you know, ready to take on the 4th trimester without having to deal with all of these other issues. Just so much to be thankful for. I'm very grateful. So thanks so much for watching and following along on this birth story, and I'll catch you in my next one. Bye.